Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your girl, Erica, the author. Welcome to my YouTube channel, and thank you so much for tuning in. I am here down in the YouTube streets. It's been a while since I've been down here, but I've already done my Real Housewives of Atlanta reunion video, and now I'm just back here to talk about a couple of other things like Love and Marriage Huntsville, Married to Medicine will soon start filming, and also the Real Housewives, the Ultimate Girls Trip. I hope you guys are watching that. If you haven't watched it, it is good, and I wanted to talk about that. So let's get into it. Like I said before, I had not been doing a lot of videos, and I said to myself, let me get back down to YouTube and talk about some things. I hope you guys have been watching. If so, that's great, because I would love to even sort of get your feedback on how you feel about a couple of things that are going on. So first topic is Love and Marriage Huntsville. You guys saw the trailer last week. If you haven't seen the trailer for the new season is out. I think the new season of Love and Marriage Huntsville starts on September 12th, if I'm not mistaken. And as we can see, Latricia and Ken are no longer there, which is fine. I think it was okay for them to leave. I don't think they're together anymore. And if they are, they could potentially be working on their relationship. Ken and Latricia weren't such a staple that I needed to see them on my screens. So with them being gone, it's okay. But the trailer looked really good because you know what, guys? The topic of conversation is the one and only Coleslaw is coming to our screens. If you don't know who Coleslaw is, shout out to Funky Dineva who used to watch Love and Marriage Huntsville faithfully. He called Martell's mistress Coleslaw. And although it's no disrespect to her, her legal name, which is Ariane Curry, but we just call her Coleslaw now. But still in all, Coleslaw / Ariane Curry, or however you want to say it, Martell's mistress, whatever you want to call it, she will be on our screens for the new season. I don't think she'll be on there on every episode. That's just my opinion. I could be totally wrong. If she's there all the time or she's kind of like a cast member, I'm going to be shocked. But I do think she's going to make special appearances with them, especially when they have probably maybe like a little cast trip or some of the cast events. How do you guys feel about it? I'm 50-50 on it. I'm going to be honest. There are some people who are very hot about her coming on this show, and then there are some people who can't wait to see it. This is how I honestly feel about it. It is a little awkward, but I think the thing about it is Martell Holt is a cast member, and it doesn't seem like he's going anywhere anytime soon. And so Ariane is a part of his life. That whole story with her is a part of the reason why he and Mel divorced, why they had their issues, why they're no longer together. And if Martell is willing or ready to tell his side of the story, because he is a full-time cast member, he can actually do that. I think from the perspective of the ratings and, from a business perspective, it's cool because that people are going to tune in, love her or hate her. People are going to tune in just to see what she has to say and what she's going to do and how she's going to act. The other side of me is like, we know that if you watch Love and Marriage Huntsville from the beginning, you know that the story was based on actually just 3 couples. Mel and Martell were together, they were married, and we know that the demise of their marriage came because Martell was cheating on Melody, and he actually even had a baby with Ariane while he was still married to Melody. So that part of it is a little sticky. I don't even think, I'm not sure. There are some rumors saying that Carlos and Mel aren't cool anymore. And I'm sure Mel really doesn't care because she's not even connected to the show anymore. But it can get a little sticky. We're going to see how it goes. I want to see, is Ariane going to be honest? Is she going to be open and honest? Is she going to try and come in and really give her side of the story, or is she just going to try and come and sort of expose other people? That's the part that I'm kind of want to see what she's going to do, because again, she's been in Martell's life for a very long time. So is this going to be their way of exposing perhaps Maurice or Marceau, or is she really going to sort of talk about how she met Martell, how it all got started, and how they ended up where they are? So guys, let me know what you think about it, because I've been reading comments, and like I said, I think everyone is sort of 50-50. There are even some YouTubers who are saying this is going too far. There are some YouTubers saying I can't wait to see it. And like I said, I think I'm caught in the middle, because I think, you know, like as we say, morally, yeah, we probably don't want to see it, but will it be good TV? Yes. So we'll see. But that's pretty much the end of that. They're also trying to talk about Martell and Destiny. I see that's a storyline that Nell was talking about. Do I believe it? No, absolutely not. I think that if Martell and Destiny were together in any kind of way, or if there was something going on with them, we would have found out by now. I think that Martell would have said it. I think Destiny would have been very honest about it. At this point, Destiny has always been pretty upfront and honest about a lot of things. She could not talk as much about her husband, LeBeric, for legal reasons, but other things, Destiny has been very open and honest about her life. So I think if there was any validity to it, I think it would have come out by now. And I think even Mel would have said something about it back in the day. There were things that were alluded to that, but I know that they went to school together. If anything came out of it, it was probably when they were extremely young. But that was probably 15, 20 years ago that we're talking now. So if they're trying to bring up something about that, I'm not here for that. I just don't really feel like, I don't want to go down a road of whether Martell and Destiny were together, especially if when we come to the conclusion of it, it is that they never dealt with one another. I don't think we should even go down that road. What do you guys think about, you know, Marceau, Maurice? We see that I think Maurice's son Monster is not in college. I don't know, he probably dropped out, or I don't know if he was actually expelled from college. Either way, it is a real life story. College is not for everyone, especially now in this day and age where a lot of the young people feel like they can become rich and become wealthy on TikTok and some of the other social media platforms. He maybe wants to go in another direction. I guess we'll see what comes out of that. What I don't want to see is Martin Luther Maurice preaching to everyone. I do not want to see the Scott brothers trying to gaslight their wives, or, you know, anyone else, and manipulate anyone and everyone that's within their path. I call Marceau is the micromanager. You know, I'm not looking forward to him either, you know, trying to tell everyone what to do, especially Tisha, when he refuses to listen to anyone and he refuses to get himself together. I'm not here for that. I'm not here for the Scott brothers at all. I know that they are main cast members and we will get some major storylines out of them, but the foolishness that they've been pulling over the past couple of seasons, basically from the beginning, I'm getting a little tired of that. Kimmy disappointed me last season. I'm seeing a whole different side of her. I've always liked Kimmy and how level-headed she was. You know, if we couldn't get clarity from anyone else, we could pretty much get it from Kimmy. But I saw Kimmy going down the wrong road last year. Even in defending some things about Maurice, it just didn't make sense. And so I'm not looking forward to that. But I will say I'm a Love and Marriage Huntsville fan. I'm a fan of the show, so I will watch the show. So tell me what you guys think. Are you guys looking forward to this season? Do you think it's going to be good? Do you want to see Ariane or not? Do you feel like she should never been asked to come on the show? Do you think Carlos took it too far in sort of having her there? Or do you think, I mean, are you interested in seeing what she has to say? Let me know what you think about that. Married to Medicine, they're going to start picking up the cameras in September. I did see over the weekend that Toya has been friends with Nneka. Nneka was on The Real Housewives of Potomac season 8, and I've seen them in many pictures and photos together before, out having dinner, hanging out, or whatever. But there's a little talk now that perhaps Nneka is coming to Married to Medicine. They were out at dinner. There was Toya, Dr. Simone, Nurse Brandy, and Nneka. Tell me what you guys think about that. There's talk that perhaps Nneka, like I said, could be joining the cast. Do we know if that's 100% true? No, absolutely not. She just could have been in the Atlanta area and decided to have dinner with them and just sort of cause a stir or create a little buzz. What I do know is that Nneka is married to a physician. When she came to The Real Housewives of Potomac, she said that her husband was a traveling physician or doctor, and so he is that. So she is truly married to medicine. Could Nneka come to Married to Medicine and make that transition? She probably could. She might fit in a little better with the Married to Medicine ladies over the Potomac ladies. Yeah, I just think that Married to Medicine has a formula that works, and I think that formula has kept them rolling, actually for now almost 13 seasons, and they should stick to it, which is to have people who are doctors or married to doctors. We know that Quad is no longer married to Dr. G. However, Quad is sort of a staple on the show. She's an OG of Married to Medicine. She was with Dr. G for 6 seasons of the first 6 seasons. I don't think the divorce was actually finalized to maybe late season 6 or early season 7. But she's been on the show for a while, so I know that they're not going to get rid of Quad, or I don't see them taking Quad off. And personally, I don't have a problem with Quad being there because, like I said, for half of the time that they've been on the air, Quad was with Dr. G. Now, do I want them to just start inviting anybody and everybody to the show to be on the show? No, because I think that the formula that they have, it works. I think they should stick to the rivers and the lakes that they're used to and not break that up. And we want to see the couples. I think just the couple dynamic is so great on Married to Medicine. There isn't any other show other than The Real Housewives of New Jersey that has that couples dynamic where the men get involved. I actually like seeing the men filming, and so I want them to keep that going. So I think that was it. I don't think I saw anything else. Dr. Heavenly. Dr. Heavenly lost her race. We know that Dr. Heavenly was running for office. She was running for political office. She did lose. She did not win that particular race. So I'm not sure if Heavenly is coming back or not. She probably will. We know last season Heavenly wasn't even full-time. She was sort of like a friend of the show, but because of the conflicts with her political trying to get into the political arena, she could not be a full-time cast member. Will Heavenly come back? I think so. I don't see Heavenly just walking away from Married to Medicine. Even if she wants to kind of stay in that political arena, I just don't see Heavenly giving up the Married to Medicine gig. She could, but in my opinion, I think that Heavenly will probably come back. I can't say, I'm going to be honest, guys, I really didn't want to see Dr. Heavenly anymore. Heavenly, to me, has gone too far. She's done too much, and honestly, I was looking forward to her not being on the show. But if she comes back, hey, she's Dr. Heavenly. She's been there since season 2. Like I said, she too has kept that train rolling for a very long time, but I just think that some of the antics are a little too much, and we don't want our reality shows to become too gimmicky. We don't want a bunch of antics and, like I said, the gimmicks and stuff like that. We know it's reality TV. We know they're going to throw stuff at us here and there, But again, like I said, I think the formula that they've had has worked, and they should stick to that. So tell me what you guys think about about Married to Medicine. Do you think Nneka would be a good fit for them? And do you think that Heavenly's coming back? Let me know in the comments what you really feel about that, or even you may not even care at all. I know a lot of people don't even watch Married to Medicine, but guys, I promise you, Married to Medicine is so good. I think that we're so used to a certain type of black woman, but Married to Medicine, I'm telling you, these ladies have given us their real lives. They've given us the drama. They've given us good TV over the years. You know, I would say my favorite seasons of Married to Medicine my favorite seasons of Married to Medicine are probably seasons 4 through season 7. I've watched every season, and I liked the other seasons. I've liked every season, but the ones that I really loved are seasons 4 through season 7. If you need to even start there, if you guys have never watched, I would say that even if you don't want to go back to the beginning, start at season 4. I think you would really, really, really enjoy the show from that point on. But if you are a Married to Medicine fan, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. These ladies have had some good seasons, and I'm looking forward to them coming back. Speaking of coming back, Miss Nene Leakes was on our screen for the Ultimate Girls Trip, for the Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip. It is their 20th anniversary, and what can I say? It was good to see Nene. I am sad that things went the way they went with Nene. I wish that things could be different. Nene Leakes definitely deserved to be on the Ultimate Girls Trip. But we know that with the legal issues and the problems that she's had with the network, it probably was a no-go. I don't think their plan is to really bring Nene back full-time anytime soon, or if they bring her back at all. But it was good. I was glad that they opened up the Ultimate Girls Trip with Nene at the very beginning. Her and Portia had a scene together, and they were talking about Nene, some of her iconic moments. You can't talk about the Housewives, you can't talk about Bravo or the Real Housewives without talking about Mrs. Nene Leakes. I felt bad because it got that bad that she got put out of her place. And I think sometimes when we don't think things all the way through. And when you become bigger than the program, I would never tell anyone not to tell their story or not to tell their truth. But sometimes if you think that you have become bigger than the program, it can become an issue. And I think that's what happened with Nene, and she became a little arrogant, and she thought she was bigger than the program because she was such an iconic, legendary housewife. No one compares to Nene Leakes, but I think she got too high up on that horse, and they knocked her down. And I don't agree with it, but this is what happens. A lot of people now, because they've seen her on Ultimate Girls Trip, they want to see her on the Real Housewives of Atlanta. I don't know if Nene will even fit in with these ladies anymore. The OGs and the veterans of the show, that's where Nene belonged. This new group, if you were going to add like a Marlo and, Kenya and all of those ladies back, sure. But this new group, I don't know where Nene would fit in. I think we see that Nene looks completely different. She has a whole new face. She has a whole new body. She looks good. But at the same time, do we want to see two Portias? Nene was always like, of course, Nene was always, the reads, she was just very quick with it. Nene just kept that show going for so long. Nene just being there, just having a conversation with somebody. The reads, like I said, she always made it funny, But now I don't know if she would actually fit in with Kelly, Shamia, Pinky, Kay. No, I don't think that Nene would even fit in with that group. Could Nene fit in with Angela? Yes. Could Nene come back and, of course, kick it with Phaedra, Portia, and Cynthia? Absolutely. Could Drew be thrown in there? Sure. but the other side, no. So I'm just not sure. And like I keep saying, I've said it, you know, a million times, we're not going to ever get the Nene of seasons 1 through season 6. That's when we love Nene. That was before Nene really started just having issues with the ladies and all of that stuff. We will never see that Nene again. And that's why I kind of lean more toward her not coming back. But again, it was so good seeing Nene. But the Ultimate Girls Trip, and it's really, honestly, I love it. But it's just not the same. I think this cast, I like the cast, but there are some missing elements to this cast, and I'll explain why. A lot of these ladies have had issues with the network, with Andy Cohen, and all of those things, but Nene should have been there. As problematic as Bethany has become over the years, Bethany definitely should have been there. I think it would have made a world of a difference. Ramona is very problematic outside of the Housewives. She's problematic on the Housewives, but even outside of the Housewives, and her political views and some of those things, yes, can be very problematic, but I think that Ramona should have been there. I know Luann is there representing. A lot of people like Lou. Me personally, I like Lou, but I don't. I can take or leave Lou. I think that having the combination of Ramona and Bethany Frankel there, I think this would have been the ultimate girls trip. If Nene was there, if Bethany was there, if Ramona was there. I even think Karen Huger deserved to be there. They chose Giselle. Karen said that she was asked to do it, but because she had just gotten out of jail and she was very concerned about, you know, just staying on the right path in her sobriety, she turned it down, and they ultimately chose Giselle. But I would have loved to have seen Karen interact with Vicky and some of the other ladies. Vicky is the OG of OGs. A lot of people can't stand Vicky. I get Vicky only because I've watched Orange County from the beginning, from season 1, episode 1. I've been watching. Vicky is 20 years older. She's not the same. She used to be the whoop it up girl, the woohoo girl. She was that girl, but she's not that anymore. She's older. She's slower. She doesn't have that same spunk anymore. Her coming back, I don't think, was necessarily a bad thing. Her coming back to Orange County, or even doing the Ultimate Girls Trip. But those who know Vicky, those who get it, and you know that that's just how she is. Like I said, Vicky used to be a lot of fun, but now Vicky seems to be having some health issues. Her knee. Vicky was always a workaholic. Vicky, that hasn't changed, but there is a difference with Vicky now. But I take Vicky as she comes, because Vicky is still going to have, love or hate her, she's still going to have some iconic moments. She's still going to say something that's funny. She's still going to be kooky and quirky, and she's still going to give you the original Vicky, and that part of her will never, ever, ever change. I will say that I have watched both episodes, part 1 and part 2. I did not review part 1. A lot of people they didn't like it. And I think because now we on the Housewives, we've gotten so used to drama. But again, these ladies don't actually work together. They're not the cast that works together all the time. These are ladies who know each other in passing, or know each other because they're in the Housewives universe, but they've never spent a lot of time together. Lou and Teresa know each other because they did the Ultimate Girls Trip before the actual first one, so they know one another. But Lisa's new, Giselle is new, Portia's new. Vicky did Ultimate Girls Trip season 2 with Dorinda and Tamara. She was there for that one. So again, but these girls meshing together, and Kyle also did the first one with Lou and Teresa. But again, like I said, this is their first time really, this particular cast being together, and they just added some new people to that. I'm not a big Lisa fan, but I think Lisa fits in out of everyone on Salt Lake City, Lisa fits in the best with this particular cast. Giselle, for me, it remains to be seen. Giselle is more like a pot stirrer. I keep saying that Giselle, you know, I know Carlos King and some other people love to say that Giselle knows how to produce a show and get things going. And I do understand that in a way, but at the same time, it gets old very fast. I think Giselle does not really know how to cultivate relationships with women, with friends. I know that she's working. This is a job for her, but I think that sometimes the ladies do try to get to know each other on a personal level, and Giselle just is not interested in getting to know someone on a personal level. To me, Giselle sees women as competition, and so she doesn't really lend herself to the situation. It is strictly, let me produce, let me get your business, let me stir the trouble, let me stir the drama. That takes the light off of me, and then I don't have to share. And that's how I feel about her. So I'm not really sure how I feel about her on this cast just yet. I'll get more into that. Cal deserved to be there. Cal was there. She is the original standing OG from Beverly Hills, so she definitely deserved to be there. Teresa absolutely, positively deserved to be there from New Jersey. Portia, like I said, I see why they chose Portia. Of course, Nene deserved to be there. I see why they chose Portia. Portia is the fun girl. Candy or Sheree would have been next in line, but they would not have fit in with this group. Candy and Sheree, their personality, they don't have that bubbly personality that can just kind of go with the flow type thing, and Portia can do that pretty well. So Portia was probably the better choice for the Real Housewives of Atlanta representation. Now, like I said, the first episode was good. They did have some drama thanks to Giselle. I will say that Giselle got the ball rolling with the drama on the first episode between Shannon, Vicky, and Tamara. But again, some of these ladies, you know, as they go from city to city, I think that we need to see a little something different. And so we'll get into it. Like I said, I did want to review, and I have my notes here so I can review the Ultimate Girls Trip episode 2 for you. So like I said, the first episode, they were in Orange County where it all began. The Real Housewives of Orange County was the first Real Housewives franchise for Bravo. That's where it all got kicked off. That's where it all started. That episode was pretty good. Like I said, they were just sort of getting to know one another. They were talking. There were funny moments, Real Housewives moments. Luann had a lot of like cute little funny moments. Vicky even had a moment. And like I said, a lot of people don't like Vicky, but Vicky has her way of still showing you that she's still a housewife. Like there was the first episode, Teresa, Kyle, and Vicky were riding in the car, and Teresa said, oh, you know, they were riding, they were on their way to the marina to get on a yacht. And Teresa said, oh, this reminds me so much of Jersey. And Kyle looked a little strange, and Vicky was like, it does? Like, and it was a funny moment. If you guys saw it, you would get it, because it's the delusion of it all. Teresa, okay, what part of New Jersey are you talking about? And I love Teresa, but what part of New Jersey are you talking about? We're talking about Orange County, where wealthy, affluent people live. You're on the Pacific Ocean. They have these, you know, luxury beach homes and all these huge estates and mansions in Orange County. I mean, okay, if you're talking about this reminds you of Jersey, are you talking about Jersey Shore? Jersey Shore is a lot different from Orange County. So that was kind of like a Real Housewives moment, because a little shade was thrown there. Also, they had, when they got on the boat, this was in the first episode, they got on the boat, they got on their yacht, and they had cutout boards of them from their first seasons, like their first photo shoot as a housewife. And Vicky told Teresa that she had changed the most as far as her looks. They all were saying that they pretty much still look the same, but Vicky did tell Teresa that she changed the most. And I would say that, honestly, I think that the way Vicky said it, kind of was kind of off-putting, but I do believe that she was right about that. Teresa has changed the most, and even Portia. I would even say Portia. A lot of people don't think so, but Portia looks totally different from how she did in season 5 when she came to the Real Housewives of Atlanta. So like I said, episode 1 was good. We got a little drama with Shannon and Tamra and Vicky, but if you don't watch Orange County, that would mean nothing to you. But if you know, you know, and you know that Tamra is absolutely bonkers. I'm not a Tamra Judge fan at all. Tamra to me does a lot of things that Giselle does. She keeps a lot of stuff going because she doesn't really have anything else to talk about. And I think she's becoming arrogant with this 2 T's in the Pod podcast. Now she's starting to put down other people, and I really, really don't like that. But let's get to episode 2. So episode 2 starts with the ladies are getting ready to leave Orange County. They're leaving their hotel. They're waiting for their Sprinter van to come and pick them up. They're headed to Beverly Hills now. So Cal's going to take over this part of the trip. So as the ladies are sitting there, they noticed that Cal did not join them. So Portia said, well, I'm surprised because Kyle was with me when I sort of came outside. Cal stopped because she sort of took a moment to herself to the side and she was crying. Cal was saying that that particular day was her 30th anniversary with Mauricio, and he sent her a text, and it really just kind of threw her off, and it's sort of, she was very emotional about it. Vicky came over to talk to Kyle about it, and Kyle kind of just broke down and said, I never thought it would be like this. And what was so funny, guys, like if you hate Vicky, then you were annoyed, but it was funny because Vicky was saying all the things to Kyle that she really wants to say about herself. And so when Kyle was like, you know, it's just, I never thought it would be like this. And Kyle was like, and so Vicky said, well, I felt the same way too. I mean, you let down your kids. I mean, you just gave up. I mean, you know, what did you think it was going to be? And for someone who's actually crying and pouring out their heart, you would think that you would have a little more empathy and a little more compassion. And Vicky was like, no, it's hard. And so, you know, Kyle was like, well, I just want to feel better. Will I ever feel differently? Will I ever get over this? And a lot of people who have gone through divorce say that things get better. But Vicky told Kyle, no, it's not going to get better. You're going to always feel that way. But if they know, Vicky has just said the Orange County, their new season is on. And Vicky told Tamra that she wished she had not divorced her husband, Don. She said she was chasing her career and getting caught up in the you know, the hype and the fame of the housewives thing, and she sort of let her marriage fall by the wayside, and she actually wishes that she has not done that. So in that moment when Kyle is sort of grieving her marriage, the failure of her marriage, the separation, Vicky is making things worse in the moment because she's telling Kyle, you made a mistake, you dummy. She wanted to like slap her. And it was funny in a way, and then it was sad in a way because Kyle was really upset. But Vicky, being quirky, being the person that she is, that type A personality, being very controlling, was letting Kyle know you were stupid for how you allowed this to happen. So again, the ladies get on the van. They eventually, Kyle says, well, just give me a couple of minutes. And Kyle wasn't mad with Vicky at all. So they embrace Kyle once they get on the Sprinter van. Kyle tells them it is her anniversary, and they all kind of embraced her. Giselle said, look, Kyle, you're bad. You know, most of us have been through that, and you can get through this. So of course, Giselle takes it upon herself to, she said that Lisa told her that from the night before that Vicky was upset with Giselle, and she sort of put Giselle in a box. So Giselle thought she was going to confront Vicky about it and really get Vicky together. Well, Vicky is an OG of OGs. Vicky was ready. Vicky said, number one, I'm working and I have high profile clients, and they come before you in this argument. So Giselle was like, well, no, you know, we need accountability. So Vicky was like, well, you don't need to tell me anything. Number one, you stuck your nose in something that you know not of. She said, this is a friendship of 18 years. I just met you. How can you tell me, or how can you get involved in something in the middle of an 18-year friendship when I've known these people all this time? Lisa said, was joking in her confessional, saying it always goes down in the sprinter. Giselle was like, but why are you mad? Because Vicky was sort of coming out at her. And Vicky said that, I don't want Tamara to think that I was talking about her. She said, Tamara and I have a friendship where I tell Tamara the truth. She said, I tell Tamara when she's being mean. I think Tamara can be mean, and I think Tamara does a lot of things that she shouldn't do, but I tell her on my own terms. I don't need you to tell her anything. And I agree with Vicky. Giselle, I know you're trying to get things popping and you're trying to get things going, but again, it does seem like you're sticking your nose in a place where it doesn't belong. And Vicky even told Giselle, she said, you did that because you're angry with Shannon, because Shannon, I think they did Love Hotel together, and Shannon chose or picked a man that Giselle actually wanted for herself. So I think Vicky was like, this is where that is coming from. So you use the situation with Tamara to kind of go after Shannon. And once again, I agree with Vicky. That's an OG. She understands how it goes. Regardless of whether you hate her or not, she understands how this thing goes. And she told Giselle the truth. And so they kept talking about that. She said, Tamara is mean. I can be mean. But again, we can navigate our friendship. You have nothing to do with that. So Giselle had to just let that go. So Teresa told Vicky, well, yeah, I think you do come across mean. I didn't like what you said to me yesterday about me changing the most. Like I said, I think Vicky was telling the truth. And then Vicky said, well, I didn't mean it that way. And then she said also, when I was talking about my issues with the tax, with me going to jail and the whole tax thing and all those things, I was being open and honest with the group, and you sort of cut me off, and you was like, well, you need to pay your taxes. And Vicky said that was for someone else on her show. And so Vicky said, I have made comments about you in the past. And she said, I'm going to be honest with you. She said, I have said things, and maybe it came from a place of jealousy. She said, I even said that you were she said, Andy asked who was one of the most overrated housewives, and I said you. And she said, Vicky said, I think at that time you were doing Dancing with the Stars. You were doing so many different things, and I probably just threw that out there because it was like a bit of jealousy there. And for her to say that, I thought that was very big of Vicky. I think Vicky was very open, very honest about it, but that is who Vicky is. If you watch the show, when Vicky makes a mistake, she will own it, she will take accountability, and she will say it. And I thought, like I said, I think they kind of like dropped it after that, and it was all good. So the ladies arrived in Beverly Hills. Teresa told the ladies, look, we got to do something really nice for Kyle and make this nice for Kyle. So Kyle planned a pajama party for them. They actually, they actually arrived at the Beverly Hills Hilton Hotel, and we know that Kyle's sister Kathy is married to Hilton. And so they arrived there, and they were all sort of getting ready for the pajama party. I said Luann was talking to her man on the phone. Initially, the way he sounded and the way he looked in the phone, I was like, is this Mauricio 2.0? Because that's exactly who he reminded me of. He reminds me of Mauricio. Luann said it's nothing serious. They see each other when they see each other. They get together when they get together, and then that's it. The other ladies met up, I think, in Cal's suite, and Vicky said that she's annoyed by Lou. Lou is coming at Vicky. I don't really know what it's about, but Lou thinks that Vicky is sort of a stick in the mud, and she really is, Lou. Like I said, Vicky is 20 years older. Vicky is now 64 years old. She doesn't feel the same. She doesn't whoop it up as much. She doesn't drink as much. She's a lot calmer now. So you are getting more of a stick in the mud. Lou said that Vicky needs to have some orgasm and she needs some sex. And Vicky is in a relationship. Again, how much sex Vicky's having with her new man, I don't know. Vicky says she's not going to disclose that information. She said she thought Luann was prim and proper with the whole countess thing. But she said basically Luann is pretty trashy. Lou said that Vicky has a way of cutting people down. And Vicky was like, just lay off of me. It's only been 24 hours. We've only been together for 24 hours and you're constantly harping on me and what I'm doing wrong. Like, just lay off of me and just let it be. So Portia shows the ladies some stripper moves. As always, you know, that's what Portia's always going to do. And but the ladies were a good sport about it. They were all showing their best moves. Kyle is the one that will dance, and she, you know, Kyle is infamous for doing her splits. So Lisa showed them she can do a split. She said, but I can only split one way. So she kind of split. Kyle can go straight down. Lisa sort of turns to the side. So they were talking about that. Giselle was just basically saying she's not a dancer. So Portia was just showing, excuse me, Giselle what she needs to do. And it was all in fun. They were laughing quite a bit. Teresa was sort of showing their moves. And they were just having a great time. Lisa even cried in her confessional. She said that she was having a great time with these ladies. She said that normally with her cast, she is never about any laughter, any fun, or she said the laughs are at her expense, and she really cried. She said this is the first time that she was having a great time. Lisa, I do understand, but Lisa, when you're with your cast, you're a lot more arrogant. You're a lot more self-absorbed. You're a lot more Lisa just comes across as if she thinks she's better than them. And I think that's what it comes from. But with these ladies are all pretty much on the same level, so to speak. So she can't act that way. So they actually, Kyle told them that they're going to go to Sutton's house for a moment. We know that Sutton she's a veteran of the show. Sutton has been on there for several years now. She's not an OG, but she has been on there for a while. And they had, when Crystal came on to the show, Sutton and Crystal had this thing, excuse me, where they were going against each other. And so they went over to Sutton's house for an ugly leather pants party. And if you know, you know, Beverly Hills, that was one of the things that happened between Sutton and Crystal. Sutton told Crystal that she had on ugly leather pants, and it was like a huge thing, and that is exactly what they are now focusing on. And so as far as that's concerned, they had a great time. They had it was like an ode to, like a throwback to the Beverly Hills, to their actual season, where this woman was wearing $25,000 sunglasses, and they played games. And before they got there, they had lunch. Hold on one second, guys. Okay, I'm sorry, guys. Someone's at the door. But anyway, so they sat down for dinner. And so, of course, Giselle likes to get things going. She loves to bring up things as to, just trying to, as basically get the ball started and get the ball rolling. Well, it just so happens that Giselle was telling Kyle that, how she had to get the ladies together about Mauricio. And, Kyle told her, no, that's not true. Kyle said, in actuality, yeah, you did say something to Ashley, but then you also said that you wanted to lay down horizontally with my husband. And Giselle was stuck, and she could not get out of it. She said, well, actually, Portia and I were talking about it. Portia said, I'm not in this. Don't put me in this. When in actuality, it was Giselle. Giselle says a lot of things for shock value. I think Giselle is just one of those women that she's a beautiful woman, and she thinks that every man would want her, and she thinks that every man would be interested in her, and so she says things, but in actuality it is off-putting and it is sort of out of order. And when she said that about Cal's husband, it was kind of bad. So Cal called her out on it, and there was nothing that Giselle could do but apologize, and Giselle said that she was stuck. And I'm sort of glad that it happened, because Giselle is trying to come in and control this group. But again, these are OGs. These are all OGs of their franchises, and so they know how this whole thing operates and how it moves and how it goes. And so Cal was definitely prepared for them. And so then they played a little game. It was called Let the Mouse Go, where they split up into teams. They had to do like sort of like a scavenger hunt, and Giselle's team won. Giselle, Portia, Crystal, and Teresa, they were on the same team, and they were against Kyle, Vicky, Lou, and I think it was just them. And they were actually, Portia, Giselle, Teresa, and Crystal, they actually won. And it was just like a little fun game, but to get Beverly Hills kicked off, it was great. So the ladies were asking, what are we going to win? And Kyle said, you get a ticket to my all-white party. So next week is where all the drama happens. I think episode 3 is really going to get it kicked off. But so far, so good. The past couple of episodes have been great. They've been fantastic. I do like the Ultimate Girls Trip. I think, like I said, this is a great group of ladies. I think they're doing a fantastic job, and they're slow walking us. They're not giving us everything up front. We're going to get little by little by little, and I think it's going to grow into an amazing thing. By the time we're done with that, we're going to say this was like the best Ultimate Girls Trip ever. So like this video and subscribe to my channel, and let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys think about Love and Marriage Huntsville. How do you feel about Nneka perhaps joining the cast of Married to Medicine? Let me know what you think about that, and just let me know if you're watching the Ultimate Girls Trip. I know sometimes people think that, oh, it's not that great, but I promise you, if you just give it a chance, you may be able to get into it. You may still say, hey, it's a no-go for me, but give it a chance. If you watch The Housewives, like I've watched every franchise, so I know all the girls. I know what's going on. I remember the seasons, and so the little throwbacks that they're giving us, I totally remember from part 1, episode 1, they did a Bonko party. I remember when Vicky and Slade got into it at the Bonko party. Even with this episode in episode 2, when Sutton said, let the mouse go. I remember that episode when she had that infamous line. So if you've been watching the episodes when she went against Crystal with the leather pants, I get it. So if you kind of have been a Housewives fan and you've kind of watched other franchises, then you know where this is going. So every city is going to be something different, and I think that's amazing in itself. So like I said, please like this video and subscribe to my channel, and leave me a comment. Let me know, is there something else you want me to talk about? Let me know, even if you don't agree with anything that I said about Love and Marriage Huntsville, Married to Medicine, or even the Ultimate Girls Trip. Please feel free to drop me a comment. I will respond to you as long as it's respectful. I love reading your comments and getting your perspective on things. I love to hear different opinions. So let me know, guys, what you think, and I will see you on the next video. And check out my Real Housewives of Atlanta reunion video as well. I'll see you guys again soon. Bye.